Ashley.
What is up? How it do, Shahab?
Oh, it's going. It's going. Lots of fun things and some sad
Yeah?
things I
Sad
gotta talk
things?
about. Well, let me talk about the sad thing first. So I bought this thing on eBay. I know, I
Yeah.
know. Don't judge me,
Well,
but
dude, I do it too. It's okay.
I was surprised. I was surprised that what was in the picture was what they were selling, and it turns out that it wasn't. So I actually, when I
Oh,
got the item, I went onto their thing and left a feedback, negative review, buyers beware. So basically, he
as you
had
do.
a 90s collectible card. You know how you can buy the big packs, and they usually come with 36 little cellophane wrapped cards, and they could be
Yeah. Oh,
magic
yeah.
cards or it could
Yeah.
be baseball cards or whatever. And usually, they're each pack has like eight, 6 or 8 of them in there, right? So
Yes.
the one and only picture on the auction
Was it like the super
was the
rare?
box. No, it was the box
Oh,
of 36 of them.
okay.
What I got was an envelope with one of them in it.
Okay, that is the weakest of sauces.
It
What
was
the donk?
horrible. I'm like, come on. So then I went back to it and I looked at it and I could see that in the title it said 1 8 pack. So I guess,
Why would you
but
show the
still,
box
false
instead of the
false
booster pack?
advertising.
Just show the
Oh,
picture of the booster pack. Did the booster
exactly.
pack look lame? I imagine it. They're usually packaged
It
just
looked
fine.
beautiful. It looked actually absolutely, gorgeous. But I would not have, because everyone else was selling the single packs for like $20 or whatever, whatever. I'm like, huh, how is this one so cheap? That's why, because it wasn't the whole box. So that was the sad thing that happened this week. Wah, wah.
Wah.
But not necessarily this week, but very recently,
Mm-hmm.
we released a new single.
Yeah?
Bad Phantom. So everyone,
Ooh.
whip out your Apple Musics and your Spotify's and your YouTube Musics. Look up Baby TV by Bad Phantom. It just came out. Shayna and Nick were both in the GC Records band Shayna Rain. Um, and depending on the release, it was either Shayna Rain and the Gents, or
Ooh.
Shayna Rain and the Part Time Models, or just Shayna
Nice.
Rain. But the core of the group was Nick and Shayna, and they have since gotten married,
Oh.
had a child, and moved to Wisconsin away from Las Vegas. And we miss them dearly. But this new single came out of nowhere, and it's a look at our addiction to phones and
Oh.
apps and things like that. So, highly recommend it. Super exciting. Digital single out now. Baby TV by Bad Phantom.
Totally
But
gonna check
let's
that out.
actually get into the time machine and forget. Let's go back to when eBay was in its infancy stage, and go to November 2001 when we released ESL's full-length album,
Heck yeah.
Horseshoes and Hand Grenades.
What a pairing.
So we're gonna listen to a few songs here. And the first one is the first song on the album. It sets the stage in that you hear the tempo of the song and you know what you're in for. All right, like this is what the next 20 songs is going to be like. But also, uh, we, Dave Lingenfelter, who's the front man for ESL, he really, really wanted a Willy Wonka sample at the beginning. And again, this was the infancy of the internet. You couldn't just say, you know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, audio sample, like it didn't exist. And so I had to put my VHS of the Chocolate Factory into the
Yes.
VCR, took my tape recorder,
Yep.
recorded the moment that he wanted, and what he wanted was the Dreamers of the Dreams line,
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, not only is the speed, not only, and I'm saying this now, but not only is the speed of the song and the nature of the song telling you what you're in for, so does this sample at the very beginning. And the way they mixed and mastered the sample directly into the first snare hit of the song, absolutely amazing. One thing to note, though, despite the fact that, well, first of all, this album was engineered and recorded by Dave Small, who was from Introspect. So this is Introspect Dave's recording studio, ESL Dave's, thing. But also, this was the first album that it was not Justin on drums or Nathan. Phil, Dave Lingenfelter's brother, Phil Lingenfelter, stepped into the role. So brothers
Oh,
joined forces to, I guess, be in a band, but also write and record all of these songs.
that's
So
wild.
now, we, especially the very last episode or 2 episodes ago, we talked about Your Machinery Is Too Much for Me. And that was Justin on drums. So now this is a different drummer, different techniques, different, still, breakneck speed, but completely different style. And so, again, this 21 songs, magnum opus, and it starts off with this Willy Wonka sample. Sorry, please don't hate us, Warner Brothers. It's only 5 seconds, or like split second even. But anyway, so here's What You Say by ESL.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
You see that you want the government down on the knees. You want them to fall. That's 11 and the playboy takes coming back as you sit on your ass. Think about the world gone, but it never act. You say the world's corrupt, working for the upper class, but behind the trees they don't give a crap. Your punk rock uniforms, these are less of pain. I agree with some thought, but we didn't try to change our world, our lives, our hopes, our dreams, their hearts, their minds, their souls, the saints. Our world, our lives, our hopes, our dreams, their hearts, their minds, their souls, the saints, lives, keeping all of us down, all of us down, all of us down, all of us down.
Alrighty, that was What You Say by ESL.
Yeah, so
That one was so
before you get, I know
fast.
you got probably 1,000 questions here. Let me read some of the lyrics. Okay, ready? So this was a biting, sarcastic jab at punk rockers in punk scenes who, well, I'll read it and you'll see. So it says, you say that you want the government down on their knees. You want the buildings to fall, Statue of Liberty to bleed. You want to take your country back as you sit on your ass, bitch about the world, complain, and never act. You say the world's corrupt, working for the upper class. They're rich beyond your dreams and they don't give a crap. Your punk rock uniform screams of passion and pain. I agree with some of your thoughts, but when will you try to change the world? Our lives, our hopes, our dreams, their hearts, their minds, their souls, the seams that are keeping us all down. I hear too many people say that they want to see things get better, but they don't seem to try to do anything about it. There are lots of little things that people can do to make a difference. If you don't like the way things are, try to change them. Every choice is a political action. You can vote, protest with your pocketbook. You've got to hit them where it hurts. So, kind of a shame that we're still kind of seeing these things and dealing with these things that we were over 20 years ago. But yeah.
Thank you for reading that because I'm definitely finding that with each year that passes, I'm suffering from old lady can't understand the words of the youth as
Oh, and
well.
and punk rock is fast and yelly. So
It is. And the fact that, but when you read the poetry, my interpretation of what I was going to comment on changed in a
interesting.
way that's really fun. It still works, but it
What were
adds
you
a different
going to
layer to
say?
it.
Yeah.
I'm still going to
Oh,
say
okay,
it.
okay,
It just,
okay.
it gets colored differently though. Um, and my short-term memory, like, I had forgotten what brilliant lyricists ESL is. I know that I like them and I love their energy and their like chaos. But what I hear harmonically in this work is like chord progressions that we generally associate with songs of like hope and dreams, and like some of the stuff that we heard, like graduation songs. We're like, oh, yay, change, you are the world, yay. And that with both
especially
the
when it
first
breaks
half,
down to the our lives, our dreams.
exactly. You get that like, oh, yay, feels.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that that's paired with both like the kind of mocking early part of, oh, you think that you're making a difference and you're just really sitting on your ass, with the later experience of you can make a difference and here's how, that colors their really brilliant lyrics in such a beautiful way. That just makes it that much cooler. So thank you for reading that text for me, because that just makes that so much cooler.
Yeah,
my cat thinks so too.
You know, and even reading it now, you know, second Trump presidency in, even though the first verse is definitely about the punk rockers who complain but never really try and change the world, a lot of what he was saying could actually be said to Trumpers and MAGA, you know, folks right now. All you're doing is complaining about all these different things and people's genitals, and what are you doing? You know, you're bombarding school boards so that, you know, your religion can be. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so I could go on a whole tirade about that, but I think that's also why it made me sad that you know, it's still something that we're kind of. These are the same conversations we're having. Come on, humanity needs to evolve.
Someday we'll get there.
Hopefully. One day. Okay, so next song we're gonna listen to. This is, they actually, in the year 2000, summer 2000, we went on a GC Records tour. Funnily enough, it was 2 weeks, and we tried so hard to book the entire 2 weeks, and we just couldn't. So it turned out to be like 5 shows in 14 days or something. So we were basically on vacation, showing up to different places. And we get to Washington, and not only are we in Washington, we are in Washington, and Dave Lingenfelter of ESL, the show that we booked was with Ian Hernandez's new band, Tales from the Birdbath, and Dave loved his previous band called Sicko, which Sicko is at this point, you know, 90s classic pop punk. And in fact, they, you know, go to sicko.com, and they've re-released all their old albums on beautiful color vinyl. But that's beside the point. So Dave was beside himself. He was so excited. Like, we're going to go play with Ian of Sicko, right? And, you know, we're going up the coast. We get to, you know, San Francisco, play a show. We get to Washington. And the drummer, I don't know what happened. He flipped out, or he tripped out, or something happened, or there was some kind of fight or drama. He got on a plane and went home. And we still had another week of tour left to go. We had to go through Reno and come down Vegas, and then hit our home, you know, coming home show in LA. And he just left. And so that ended up happening in Bellevue, Washington. So I think this is just Dave, you know. It's called Bellevue Mental Hospital, and he's just kind of, you know, airing his grievances about that. And so, yeah. So this is ESL doing Bellevue Mental Hospital.
Driven by us wanting to be kids, and I hope we can do it all again.
Alrighty, Bellevue Mental Hospital by ESL. So, my brother, you are muted.
Oh,
Classic.
so I'm not gonna read the whole song like I did last time, but I'm just gonna read the first line here. There's a place in my heart for everything we did, a summer of so much fun, at least 2 weeks of it, emotions driven by wanting to be kids, and I hope we can do it all again. Then he starts getting into the frustration part of the trip at that point, but I always love that because it really was a silly, fun, dangerous tour filled with racist customs agents and drummers leaving halfway through. And then from Reno to Las Vegas, we were in a caravan and one of the cars broke down in the middle of nowhere. And again, no smartphones, so the tow truck had no idea where we were on the freeway, on the highway. So yeah, it's nice to hear that despite all of those, and the fact that we couldn't book the whole 2 weeks. Oh, and a funny thing about the fact that we couldn't book the whole 2 weeks, not only was all of that going on, the tour poster that we printed, that we mailed to each venue so they could put it up to let people know, hey, come to this show, said the GC West Coast tour. And we were like, oh,
Tour.
It was a typo. But then it kind of ended up really like, yeah, it was a tour. We had 3-4 days in between shows. It was a fun time, but only something you would do in your 20s, I guess.
Based on the story that you've told and recounted, and the energy that was displayed in that song, I feel like that was a very artful Shayna that was provided for us, that really gave us the experience really viscerally, between the tonal shifts, the vocal technique shifts, between the singing, the lyricism in the beginning where you really know what's going on, and there's the optimism, and then there's just the dead ass screaming
with the lead vocalist and backing vocalists screaming at the top of their lungs. Yeah.
And given shit going sideways a lot, which is the energy that I'm getting from your storytelling. And yet there's still those little moments popping in of still trying to make the best of it. We're still, we're young. We're touring. We're doing it.
And that's why I even love the ending where it's all dun, 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 ding, like I'm not hitting the ride symbol,
yeah.
Ding, you're like, oh, like the cartoon ding on the tooth, like ding,
Yeah. Youthful adventures.
Yeah, really, really great band. And you know what? I will not do this on every single one. I'm just gonna play one more, and mainly because this song is 27 seconds long. Turns out that, so we all went to high school together. For those of you that missed the ESL Seamus O'Neill episode, we all went to high school together, and during high school there was the cool kids and then there was the nerds. I was definitely in the nerd category, and there was just one cool kid that I thought was friends with these guys, and then turns out years after high school, Dave Lingenfelter was like, no, I hated that kid. He was so smug and da-da-da. And so he kind of changed the name to protect the innocent. But then he was like, hey, listen, and this song, even faster, even more crazy. And I must say, he had big shoes to fill, filling in after Justin, and he does such a good job. I think he was right there with Justin, if not, crazier. But anyway, so this song is just absolutely wild, but it's it's kind of like one of those moments where you're like, I wish I would have said this. All right, you're in the shower and you're like, I want to say this, right? So we did the Willy Wonka, and Dave was like, I need another sample here. again, Warner Brothers. I'm so sorry. I don't know why we keep going to Warner Brothers. Please don't take this off the shelf. Anyway, so um, the very, very butt end of Griswold's tirade in Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, when he finds out he got stiffed for his not promotion bonus. They, instead of giving him a bonus, they gave him jellies, right? So he was like, he put a down payment on a pool. You remember this? Did you see National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation? You haven't?
Long time ago.
Long time
like bits
ago.
and
Okay.
pieces a long time ago.
It's okay. It's okay. But there's so he gets the whole movie. The whole movie he's imagining, girls in swimsuits at his pool, and he's building this pool, and you put a down payment. He's
That's
boasting
cute.
about it, and then instead of money, he gets a gift basket of jellies or something. So he goes on this
Delicious.
it's Chevy Chase goes on this crazy yelling tirade, cussing in front of the grandparents and the cousins and all this stuff.
No.
And so we took just the last bit of it where he goes, "Hallelujah, I got a headache." Anyway, so that, and again, it's like less than a second, just a sliver. The entire song is 27 seconds, including the sample. So here we go. This is Evan Stewart, about a kid that none of us liked because he was mean. And here we go. Evan Stewart by ESL. Where's the Tylenol?
Oh man, Evan
So
Stewart.
I don't think anyone ever really realized that was Chevy Chase, but I mean, it's
No, I don't feel like that's
three
a long
words,
enough clip
but
to. Yeah.
that kid really did give us headaches, and so it was fun because I was like, oh, dude, I thought you guys were like in cahoots. He's like, no, man, nobody liked
That's
him.
so funny.
So yeah, so that's, I mean, honestly, a sliver of Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. There's so many other songs. A lot of it gets very poetic, very artsy, but still sticking with this this genre, but moving beyond the split with Seamus O'Neill, moving beyond those early demos. They essentially grew up. They grew up, and then Phil came on as drummer and kind of changed the dynamic. And yeah, so that, I think. Wait, does that bring us to the end of 2001?
What?
Wait a minute. Let's see here. What's after that?
What could it be?
Yeah. So the very next release is the fundraiser that we did for the Revolutionary Association of Afghan Women.
Nice.
So that kind of, between that and the You Call This Music compilations, by the time we had done these, we had worked with some of the bands that I grew up idolizing and loving. So it was almost like, by 2002 I could die happy. It was just amazing.
So awesome.
But Gila put the call out. She got a lot of really big heavy hitters for the compilation. And she ended up going to San Francisco by herself to go meet Jello Biafra, who was the singer of Dead Kennedys, and he gave us a spoken word for it. One of my favorite bands from Sweden called Randy, they gave us a song. Just really amazing work that went into it. We partnered up with somebody that you might have heard of by the name of Shepard Fairey. He does Obey Giant brand, and he gave us a bunch of artwork for it. So it really was a really cool thing. And when you opened up the album, it came with a little zine. There was just this little photocopy thing of all of the things the Taliban has done to women.
Oh God.
like to so that you know, here is the list, just so that you definitively know. So that's gonna be our next episode. The album that was aptly titled "Dropping Food on Their Heads Is Not Enough," because they do food drops to war zones, and
Yeah.
you know, that's they're still oppressed, and there's still oppression going on. So anyway, so dropping food on their heads is not enough. It's going to be our next episode, and we'll see if I can convince Hila to come on to the podcast. She might not, though. She's a little reserved and shy, but that's okay. That's fine too. No,
That's okay.
You know, I'm the chatterbox. I get it. I know. But yeah, so next episode will be the May 2002 compilation album, Dropping Food on Their Heads Is Not Enough. And listeners, thank you, as always, for sticking
Thanks,
these out, going down memory lane with us. Ashley, thank you.
Thank you, Shahab. This is always
And
fun.
we'll catch you later.
Later, y'all.